throughout Paul's life. Paul was always saying, less of me and more of God. He was always humbling himself so that God could bless him more. You don't see Paul saying, oh, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to build all these churches because I'm just Paul and that's who I am. No, you see him humbling himself, even while he's in prison or while he's being beaten. Humbling himself because he knew he was a sinner, saved by grace, and that the Spirit of God was with him. To me, this is just me. This is just one of many, many, many views on the Beatitudes. But to me, especially this first one, being poor in spirit, boils down to being humble. And as we've looked at Proverbs, we've looked in Isaiah about really what it means to be humble.
This is probably the first one is probably one of the hardest ones to explain.
It is.
What's that?
The first beatitude, being poor in spirit.
You feel that means humble. I never exactly put those together before, so.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, when Jesus was teaching, and we'll see it throughout Matthew chapter 5 through 7, the people didn't get it. And the point really wasn't for the crowds to get it. And as I've said before, it was for the disciples to get it. And Jesus, later on, they keep having to ask him, what do you mean when you said this? They still didn't get it. It took many years for them to get some of these concepts. And also, you'll notice some of the Beatitudes and some of the teachings here in Matthew 5 through 7 are recorded in Luke chapter 6, just little bits and pieces. Which makes me think that Jesus didn't just say these things once, but he kept repeating them to the disciples. To get it through our thick skulls that these are the things that we need to look upon and pray upon and understand about the kingdom of God. Any other questions?
So it's humble in the sense of not the opposite of proud, but in the sense of humbling yourself before God.
Yeah, not just being. Sometimes, like I said, in the Old Testament or in the New Testament, in King James, it'll say meek. I think it gives the wrong meaning. Like you're saying, it's not the exact opposite of being proud, but it's understanding who you are before a righteous God.
Kind of says to me being open.
Or submissive.
Or submissive. Submissive can be another word that you could use. What's amazing is in the study of the scriptures, our language confounds us, as we were talking about Sunday morning.
Yes.
Our human language can't encapsulate all of what Christ taught. And Christ, I imagine, was very careful in how he said things so that we could understand it. And even still, it goes way over our heads. But all we can do is be prayerful and be mindful of what God has given us, the scriptures, and to seek out what he has for us through them. Well, leaving this idea of being humble, and this idea of being poor in spirit, we're now going to go into a time of communion, where we can